Well, hi guys. I'm Justin, and I'm here to talk to you today about my research that my manuscript I just put in, which was about how does participating in 30 minutes of moderate intensity resistance training 3 times a week motivate college students to have a healthy diet. Before we start, I'd just like to thank you in advance for giving me your time. I hope that this presentation is a little bit informative and enjoyable for everyone. I decided on this study because despite the health benefits, young people do not add a healthy diet in with their exercise program. Motivational problems are at the top of the list of being one of the main reasons for poor diet management. Very little research has been completed around exercise and diet of a healthy population. So I wanted to investigate if this was true or not. Seems people are always saying today how lazy college students are, how all they do is drink and sleep and do not much else other than that. So this study will help to show a little bit about if that's true or not, hopefully. In young people today, low levels of physical activity and unhealthy dietary practices contribute to significant and immediate health risks such as obesity and type 2 diabetes. Other long-term health consequences such as cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, overweight and obesity in adulthood, and adult onset of diabetes are also evident health risks. People who maintain an active lifestyle and view exercise and a healthy diet as important and also do it, not just think about it, have a 45% lower risk of developing coronary heart disease. So having this in mind, including a modest amount of physical activity and some small incremental healthy dietary changes into one's lifestyle have a positive effect on weight loss and promote the maintenance of favorable body weight and body composition changes with advancing age. Like, it's pretty straightforward really. If individuals consume more energy than they expend, then weight gains follow. So if you eat more and do less, you're gonna gain weight. And if individuals expend more energy than they consume, weight loss follows. So eat less, do more, stuff like that, you're gonna lose weight. So it's not really rocket science, is it? Just eat less, do more, eat healthy, and you're gonna be healthy. So when you're in the gym working hard, exercising, whether it's to get into shape or to just keep fit, that exercise only takes your body and your healthy lifestyle so far. What you put into your body will determine how fit you get or how much weight you lose or how healthy you become due to that exercise also. This study that I've done aims to determine if a relationship exists between exercise and the motivation for a healthy diet, looking specifically at college students who participate in at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity resistance training 3 times a week. I've chosen to help me with this to use a treatment self-regulation questionnaire, also known as a TSRQ, to find this relationship. The TSRQ is a set of questions developed by William, Decky and Ryan in 1985 concerning why people do or would do some healthy behavior, enter treatment for some disease, try to change an unhealthy behavior, follow a treatment regime, or engage in some other health relevant behavior. The null hypothesis for this stated that there will be no difference between the exercise and the motivation for a healthy diet, whereas my alternate hypothesis for this study stated that there will be a positive relationship between exercise and motivation for a healthy diet. So those who exercise will be more motivated to be out there resistance training, exercising, compared to people that just don't exercise but have a healthy diet. Motivational problems are probably one of the main reasons for poor diet management. very little research has been completed around exercise and diet of a healthy population. There's a lot out there about obese or people who have had surgery or are coming from diabetes or some other disease, but not much research out there on just the healthy population. So it was then for me, it seemed valuable to identify if exercise does motivate a change of healthy diet, looking specifically at healthy college young students. I ended up getting 42 kind and willing participants to volunteer for my study. Before I could let them loose and answer the questionnaire, I had to get them to sign a written consent form and complete a PARQ questionnaire. All this was just to let them know what was required of them through the study, the conditions of the study, and the confidentiality of their answers. They also needed to understand that they could pull out at any time without any penalties at all. All of my participants had played sport at a recreational level prior to this study, and 68% of them currently played sport at the time of this study. The TSRQ that I picked, the sub questionnaire, focused on diet, answering questions as to why you'd either start having a healthy diet or continue on your healthy diet, and such questions like that. Participants completed the questionnaire online in their own time and privacy, with personal details included. When I received all the data, it was then compiled together. Personal information such as their names were removed from all documentation, so then it was just participant 1, participant 2. I didn't know who did what, so all their information was gone. I then used Microsoft Excel in the study to analyze the data to accept or reject my null hypothesis. To analyze this data that I got from my participants, I had to first sort it into people who did participate in the resistance training and those who didn't. The participants were then given a final score by using the autonomous subscale score provided with the questionnaire. I used the data analysis tool pack in Excel to complete an independent t-test comparing the people who did exercise and have a healthy diet against those who didn't. For this test, I set an alpha level of 0.05. Now to the big results of the study. The t-test that I completed using Excel 2007 showed that there was no significant difference between those college students who resistance trained for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and had a healthy diet, compared to those who just had the healthy diet. As you can see here on the bar graph on the screen, if you kind of look at a bit of an average, there was no real difference. And as we look at this pie chart here of the groups, a bit easier, you can pretty much see that it's 50-50. There's no difference between the groups. With this result in mind, I can say that my null hypothesis can be accepted, that there would be no difference between college students who did the resistance training for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, compared to those who just had the healthy diet. Now, this motivation that the participants may or may not have had could either be intrinsic or extrinsic motivation. Now, motivation that comes from within is known as intrinsic motivation. Intrinsically motivated individuals engage in activities that interest them, that they engage in freely with a full sense of violation and personal control. So they just do something for the fun of it and because they like doing it, not because there's money in it or anything like that. Now, this could be true for some of my participants of my study. Say they might have wanted to bulk up and look good, and to do that you need a healthy diet, so they're intrinsically motivated to have a healthy diet by knowing at the end of it that they would look good. Whereas motivation that comes from outside is known as extrinsic motivation. Now, this motivation could have also played a part in some of the other participants in the study. Say the participants might have only been resistance training for the purpose of looking good and to gaining the attention of the opposite sex. So they're extrinsically motivated by the opposite sex to resistance train. So yeah, some of the participants might have had this kind of motivation for the resistance training and the healthy diet. The results I found in this study are also in line with other studies, which suggested that tendencies towards a healthy diet and the right amount of physical activity often come hand in hand. Furthermore, an increase in physical activity is usually linked to a parallel improvement in diet quality. This was by Alonso in 2011. The studies also supported Alonso's other statement of physical exercise seems to encourage motivation for a healthy diet. This was also true because the people in the study who exercised showed the motivation for a healthy diet also. To my knowledge today, resistance training and motivation for a healthy diet in college students hasn't really been covered or described, so comparisons with my study cannot be made at the moment. Additionally, I could not find any other related studies that were performed using college-age healthy students who currently train. So this is also, don't have a lot of information to go on. This is pilot studies, the only one that I've really found in this area. Past research on similar groups of people of nearly the same age but not quite, or don't go to college or stuff like that, they could be school students instead, found that respondents frequently cited exercise as a healthy diet as important, but a much smaller percentage actually practiced these behaviours. This was found by Merrill and others in 2002. This may have occurred in my study. I'm not sure, it could have. We can't really tell. In future studies of this area though, to help this, it'd be suggested that participants fill out dietary sheets so correct data can be established to show their dietary habits. It would also be an advantage to find out why participants resistance train, if it's extrinsic or intrinsic rewards are motivating, just so I could direct the study towards people who are intrinsically motivated instead. As a pilot study, no significant difference was found between the motivation, but more research still needs to be completed to find if it, just to back up my results with others. Now these results from my study could possibly be used to help colleges and universities all over the world, but closer to home it could help the gyms and refectories by informing them of the trend of the motivation for a healthy diet for those who resistance train, because there are a lot of people on campuses that resistance train, so having a healthy diet and healthy food in the refectory could help them. It could help their customers to eat healthy. It could bring them more money by having more stock and more people buying it because there's healthier food there. This could eventually reduce the number of obese people because all that healthy food is there to eat rather than the deep fried food. And then this change to a healthier food and population could create a ripple effect out into the broader community, where they, such as schools, where they get rid of all the junk food and put in more of the healthy food to try and motivate them to have a healthy diet as well. And that pretty much wraps it up for me and my summary of this study. I thank you all for listening. I hope you guys didn't fall asleep too much. I tried to make it a bit interesting, but you can only do so much. I'd just like to thank everyone that participated in the study, the volunteers and CQU staff for letting me carry out the study, and because without any of you guys I couldn't have done it. Well, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.